Hi guys, it's me Danielle Danibuttons, and today I'm coloring out of Mystery Mosaics book number 5. I got a request to work in these books on my haul, and that's what I'm gonna do. So unfortunately, this is one that I had before that haul, but they're all the general same premise. I have to say there is almost no chance I am finishing this today. No, there's no chance. I'm not finishing this in one go because I'm going to do one of the double page spreads. I kind of thought this was like the most authentic thing to do in these books. So I still have to like crack the spine a little bit. So sorry. I'm also not going to tell you what I'm coloring, and we'll see if anybody can guess by the end. I was thinking of like speed coloring at the end, but these pages actually take me a really long time, so I just picked out a few colors and we're gonna go from there. I am using I always call them Don Quixote, but I don't even really want you to look these up. I got these last year for Amazon Prime and they yellow, so I do not recommend them, but it was like 160 pack for like $16, so I'm not really upset that I gave them a try, but I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. So first I'm gonna talk about the book a little bit, because if it was a request, I'm gonna assume maybe the person does not really color in these. We'll see, and then we're gonna get into it. Also, I'm calling this video like where have I been since I took the month off, but what I think I'm gonna do is I have a list of all of the things I did while I was gone, and I'm just gonna start and we'll see how far we get, because it's definitely a lot to talk about. So for the next few coloring chats, we'll probably be talking about my month, but we'll get there. All right, so first of all, these books have single, let's see if I can turn the page without hitting my monopod, single pages and double pages. I think it's really cool how they do the double page, because it folds out like this, so you don't have to worry about the spine. You do, I guess, technically have to worry about this crease, but it's usually not a big deal. Also, something that is semi-unique is this isn't the only company that does it, but it's definitely a prominent feature, is that there are half squares, so there are triangles, and that does give us a little more detail. These are pretty big squares overall, and they have very thick lines, which is great for alcohol markers, which is what I use. The colors are always listed on the side. It does have a really weird color palette. It's a 36 color palette, and some of them are kind of strange, but you're never going to use all of the colors on one page anyway, so I don't always follow it. I am a big person, true, but I am big into checking the answer key as you go. So because of that, I don't, like, I'll know, okay, I need to use 3 greens, so I'll just pick 3 shades of greens and not necessarily worry about matching exactly. Again, I use these Don Quixote whatever. I did a video way back about how I bought this set specifically to match with color by numbers, because I don't usually do that. So yeah, I'm gonna get to it and we'll see if anybody can guess what it is. I don't know if it's super easy to guess what it is, but maybe as we get farther, I'll give you a hint at the end, and then you can say if you knew before or after the hint. But yes, okay. My month, August, like I said, was really crazy, and in a good way. I think that everything was a pretty smooth month. It was a nice month off from coloring. It was kind of crazy because in the beginning of the month, I think I did some of my paper stars origami that I've done before, and like I nearly cried because it was just like so relaxing, and I wasn't like worried about coloring. And again, it's all very silly, and I feel like it's literally any YouTuber at any level experiences the same thing, which is pretty interesting. But it was very nice to take that little break, and I did not color very much at all. I think my total was, what, 7.5 pages. So I really am ready to get back into it, but I also am ready to get back into it at a good pace, which I mentioned before. But there were months in, I don't think, what year? 2020, I guess, maybe even 2021, where I was coloring like 100 pages a month which was obviously like 3 pages a day. So I am looking forward to pacing myself better than that, but we'll see. This is honestly, I barely know what I'm coloring at this point because I can't look at my picture. But yeah, so August. The month started off, Noodles had her annual vet appointment. Noodles is my puppy, if you are new, which now I have to say that because I got a bunch of new subscribers while I was gone, which welcome if you're new. I'm excited to have you here. But Noodles is 7 now, and she just gets her annual checkup every year in August because that is when we got her, and she did great. It was a pretty extensive checkup because, I don't know, it makes sense. We only really have to go once a year. We've been very lucky with her health, knock on wood, but she has allergies to, we think, chicken and beef, but it's not like life-threatening. We just try to avoid it or she gets itchy. So other than that, she's in good health, and I love her vet so much. The vet is like, what's a group of vets called? A practice, I guess. And there's one vet that I like more than the rest of them. And we always make sure to get her annual checkup with my favorite vet. If we ever have to go in for other reasons throughout the years, we'll just get whoever we get. But we make our appointment very early for her annual because her vet is great. And the other ones are not bad. I'm not like dissing the other vets, but she just goes above and beyond, and you can tell because you need to book months in advance to get to see her. So Noodles, it did that, and she is all good, and she is happy and healthy and has all her up-to-date shots and medicines, and she has no worms and all that fun stuff. So that's how our month started. And then what was the next thing that happened? The next thing that happened was potentially all the way at the 13th and 14th for Sam's birthday. Let me check my notes to make sure. I don't want to be leaving anything out. Hold on. Don't move. Uh-oh. September. I almost looked at October, but my notes are not in October. Yeah. Okay. So Connecticut. I don't know if I should just go for it and go into detail right now, or if I should like just do an overview of where I've been and then talk in detail. I think I'm just going to go for it, and we're going to talk about Connecticut. So if you're from Patreon, you're going to get some double stories, and I'm pretty sure I didn't tell anybody on the main channel yet, but for Sam's birthday, we decided to go to Connecticut for the weekend. Now, we live in Upper New Jersey, so it was only about maybe an hour to an hour and a half away from us. Not a huge drive, but I don't know if anybody else is like this, that we tend to only go in one direction. So we frequently drive down an hour and a half. Like Sam's parents live about an hour and a half south of us, but we never go up an hour and a half. So this was new. And we ended up just going to hotel. Really, I just wanted to go swimming. So we found a hotel with an indoor pool that we could go to. And obviously we found some other stuff to do in the area. And it was just literally one night. So we went up on Saturday morning. We went to a cool game store. I feel like around, I don't know if maybe I just don't know where to look, but there's not very many board game stores that you can buy things in person around us besides like Barnes & Noble, which of course I love Barnes & Noble, so that's not a problem, but they don't really change their stock very often, so, or at least mine doesn't. So it was really nice. It was called Nutmeg Games, and it seemed like they do a lot of events too, but obviously being only there for a day, we did not stay for any events, but I just love that idea of like a little board game community. So we did that, and we actually got some board games to bring to the hotel with us for nighttime. Sam and I, we're not really, first of all, I am still very wary of the panini. I'll say that so we don't get content warnings. But, so we're not really like going out people anyway. I don't know. I have lots of anxieties, so I'm not great at like going to new restaurants and things like that. I just frequent chain stores, chain restaurants. So we were very good at having our low-key day. We went and got crumble cookies, which that was very exciting. I had them for the first time with Emily in Chicago, and I want them all the time, but luckily there are no current locations nearby to me. So that was like a very special stop on our trip, is to get those cookies, and they were delicious. The only crazy thing about Crumble is that if you don't have one near you either, they're a cookie store that every week, every store in the whole chain across the whole country has the same 5 flavors of cookies. So they all always have chocolate chip, and then the other flavors rotate out. And I think that's so cool because obviously that's very much always changing. But then for somebody who like has to drive really far to get them, if the cookies stunk, that would be sad. Like right now, I think this week's cookies, there's like everything bagel and French toast, and then I think pumpkin chocolate chip, and like some of them sound intriguing, but I also feel like I would just miss normal cookies. So I don't know, it's just pretty crazy, but they're so delicious and I always want them. So if I ever encounter one anywhere I go, I'm gonna pick them up. So we did that. And what else? We got to swim, which was awesome, and we got very lucky because like it's just a random like Hilton garden top in random nowhere, Connecticut. So we were the only ones in there, had the whole pool to ourselves, and we swam for about 2 hours, which is never enough for me. But even so, it was like an indoor pool. So you walk in that room and it's overbearingly hot, and yet somehow that water is not body temperature, so you do eventually get freezing. And in fact, we were so cold that we hadn't thought to bring any sweatshirts or anything because it was like 95 outside. So we did end up going to Walmart and picking up some sweatshirts. But that was also like a mini adventure for us because we don't actually ever go to Walmart. There's really not anything close by Walmart-wise, and yeah, we just don't go often. We're more Target people. So, because our county has blue laws, which means that like there's very strict rules about when the stores can be open. And so that's not really conducive with Walmarts. So, and like what you can sell on weekends and things. It's very crazy. Our county is one of, I think the only county in New Jersey for sure, but I don't know where else there are blue laws. But that's a side story. So we went to Walmart and got some sweatshirts for the rest of the day. And then we went to dinner, and it was Sam's choice because it was for Sam's birthday. So we went to this, it was called Mariposa, which means butterfly. And I think it was just like general Latin food, because like I got an empanada. It was like a corn empanada. It was really interesting. It was corn, cheese, and coconut. And truthfully, I mostly just tasted the corn, but I was very excited for that combination. And then we got these cool like cheese and chicken balls that I don't remember what they were actually called. And then Sam got, I think, a burrito. I don't know. So it was all over, but it was pretty good. And of course, we still had our cookies for dessert. And then, yeah, we went to the hotel and we played the board games we bought. So that was nice. So what's also nice about even our mini vacation is Sam and I tend to listen to audiobooks in longer car rides. And we have been listening to Agatha Christie books. I really like Agatha Christie, and I'm currently making my way through the Hercule Poirot series. And every once in a while I'll throw in a Miss Marple because sometimes they'll be like short story bind-ups, and so it'll be part of both of their series. But, so for now, I haven't really listened to many standalones on my own or many of the other series. So we listened to one of those together. on the way up and down. And now, what was the title of the one we listened to on this trip? Uh-oh. Did we finish the chimney book? I don't know. I'll have to look up the title. I'm also thinking of doing a color and chat about books I've read recently, just because I know a lot of color people. I'm really stumbling all over all of my words today. I know a lot of us colorists are also readers, so I'm thinking of doing that as a video soon. And for that, I will look up the title. But we have also now started The Secret Adversary, which is the first book in the Tommy and Tuppence series, and I have never read any of them, so that's exciting. But it's just crazy. Like, it blows my mind thinking about these books having come out legitimately 100 years ago. So, that's fun. But anyway, then what did we do? Yes, so that was that day. Then we went to a flea market on the next day, which was Sam's actual birthday. If anybody has seen the show Flea Market Flip, which I'm a huge fan, the show is basically two teams go to the flea market and they have to buy like furniture. They have a small budget. I think they get $500 in the beginning, and they have to buy things to fulfill 3 categories. So usually it's like nightstand, 1950s, party, and they'll like buy furniture from one flea market and then they'll flip it. So they'll completely redo it and restore and make everything nice, and then they'll sell it at a different flea market. And I say all that because most of the episodes, the first half where they buy everything from is the flea market we went to. So it's called the Elephant's Trunk Flea Market, and it is in Connecticut, obviously. And we actually have gone once before for my birthday a few years back, and now we went for his birthday. Sam loves a deal, so that is why we thought it would be good to go and just to check it out in a different season, because obviously my birthday is in much cooler weather, so I didn't know if it was going to be different or not. But the only problem is we didn't have anything in mind that like we needed when we went. So we didn't really have much luck finding things. It's so much easier to go to something like that and you're like, I need a new cabinet. And then you buy the cabinet. But without having anything in mind, we didn't really purchase much. The only thing we got was a large wooden pear, the fruit pear. It was like a wooden pear on a pedestal, and it is very strange. But that was our only purchase, and you know I love fruit, so I was pleased with that. And Sam thinks it's really cool, so I'm like, okie dokie. So that is all we bought at the flea market. I actually saw a few Christmas things I liked, but what's so weird about flea markets in general, and definitely this one in particular, there would be some vendors that were like, oh, everything is $1. Get whatever you want for $1. And then there's some vendors that are like, this is $600. And I was like, ooh. So obviously I would have preferred the $1 vendors. And that is another reason we didn't get too much, because the few things I found that I did like were like actual collectibles and antiques, so didn't work out. I think I don't know if this happens to anybody else, but anytime I see something Christmassy, I'm like, yeah, I definitely get that. Implying that like I have room for it because it's not out yet, so like I can't visualize that I do not have room for it. So, because I was like wanting a bunch of stuff that wasn't Christmassy, but I'm like, no, where would I put this? Where would I put this? But anything Christmassy, I was like, of course, we'll find a spot. Like, hello. So, I just always think that's pretty funny. So, did that, left with just our lonely pair, and drove back home, finished our audiobook. So, we actually finished we got home and we had like 10 minutes of the audiobook left. So we ended up like, instead of going straight home, we parked like a few blocks away at a local park because I knew if we went straight home, Noodles would see us and scream from the windows, and I like didn't want to make her so antsy to be screaming while we were in the car for another 10 minutes. So we parked nearby, but my dad just happened to like look up. Like, we both track each other. Whatever. I track him, he tracks me, I track Sam, everybody. Our whole family, I track my cousins. We're very open with that, whatever. But he looked it up, and we were just stopped next to this creek. And he was like, I thought you fell in the creek. Drove over the edge. And I'm like, no, we're just listening to our audiobook. So he was like, I was about 10 seconds from coming out and finding you. And I was like, okay, we'll be right there. But we finished our book. But I just thought that was pretty funny. And it always happens, like, I don't specifically, like, try tracking them. But I'll be like, let's see what's going on today. And then it's like, oh, you're 5 minutes from home. Perfect timing. So it was just funny. And yes, Noodles was freaking out the whole time. So this feels crazy. Like, this doesn't feel right. But it's supposedly right. But it's a big blob. So we'll see, again, what anybody guesses. I think once I start the next two colors, you'll have a better idea. But yes, so that was Sam's birthday trip. And it was a fun time, I think. I'll set a bit on my page. Cool. Nice. So I'm excited, and now we actually are planning my birthday trip, and I'm super, super excited. My birthday is in November, and we're going to another new state. So I will definitely tell you more things as we get closer, and as more things are solidified, and then probably after. So what else? Then, to continue / finish off Sam's birthday celebrations, I'll tell you about what we did with his family. Actually, let's go back to the day we came back from Connecticut. So we listened to our audiobook, came home. Our plan was to go out to dinner with my dad for Sam's birthday. But instead, Sam and I both like napped for like 3 hours. And then we just ordered in some food. So it was pretty funny. We were very, very tired. I think it was a combination of swimming for the first time in a really long time. And from walking the flea market for like 3 hours in the very, very hot sun. So that's how that day ended. But obviously he had a good time. He played like video games, and other people don't seem to need to celebrate their birthday on their actual birthday. I'm still a fan of trying to celebrate on the day of, but he felt celebrated enough. Then the other thing is the week after, or the weekend after, I should say, we ended up going with his family, so my mother and father-in-law and nephew, to another escape room. Yes, I love escape rooms so much. It's my favorite thing, and if I get to pick the activity, that's likely what I'm going to pick every time. So we got to go to another one, and it was the chain that has the great escape rooms, and this one was called The Deep, I think, The Depths. The Depths. And it was like submarine themed, and I don't want to give spoilers because it is a chain, but it was a lot of fun, and I think we got out with 4 minutes left, which was super cool. But their rooms are so, so well done, and I would just do them over and over again given the opportunity. So I don't know if doing these little extra areas will help or hurt your guessing abilities, but we'll see. Oh, there's more up there. So, and then we ended up eating at Red Robin, which I am not the biggest Red Robin fan. I don't know. I think it's the specific Red Robin we went to is not the nicest. I don't know. But it was a good enough meal. So that's really all you can ask for, especially from a chain, obviously. As a chain restaurant fan, like, my expectations are not the highest. So and that was the end of Sam's birthday celebrations. All right, I think I have time to talk about one more point, and then we'll have to leave the big expo for the next video. But the other thing, I'm really nervous that this isn't right. Do I want to check? No, we're going to go for it and hope for the best. All right, sorry. The other thing that we did is go to the first giant game of the season. It was actually a preseason game, so not the first. But my first game in the stadium, so if you have not heard from my videos, my dad got season tickets to the Giants this year, and I'm very, very excited. I had previously only gone to one game, and it was back in 2014. I'm a large football fan, and we do fantasy every year, and I'm very excited. I just love basically watching all sports in a group setting. I just think the group setting makes everything more fun. So I'm just excited for that in general. Sorry, let's make sure I start off right, and then we'll keep going. Okay, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. Yeah, so we got our first game. Yes. Anyway, I think I made a mistake. I helped him pick the seats, and we ended up going with third tier. Like, there are 3 tiers, and we went with third tier. He could have gotten second tier. Second tier was like more expensive, obviously, because it's closer. And I was like, no, the 2014 game was third tier, and it was great because you could see everything. And that's really all you want, right? Like, you just want to be able to see everything. Let's keep going with third tier. So we went with third tier, and we got there. Oh boy. Third tier, up we go. It was like a 5-minute escalator ride to get up to the top, and it was just a lot. We were very, very scarily high up in the air. I am scared of heights because, of course, I am. And yeah, it was a little intimidating. It was also like giving me a little bit of vertigo. But since it was a preseason game, it was pretty empty. And I think once it is fuller, I will do better, because there was like nobody in front of us, and where we were, there was like stairs in front of us. So yes, there was like a railing, but then you can just like see straight down. And again, that seems really scary. But my cousin's like, there's like 4 things to catch you if you fall. And I was like, I don't know if that's helping me, but thanks, I guess. So yes, that's what that was. Very, very scary. But the game was a lot of fun. They did end up winning. We didn't stay till the end because it was a night game, and honestly, it was preseason. Like, meh. None of the good players are in at the end anyway. But they did win, and it's so funny because fans are annoying. And it could just be Facebook. But, like, they won, and all the fans were like, whatever, they won against 4th stringers. And it's like, okay, but if they lost, you'd be complaining that they lost. So let's just celebrate the win and hope for a good season. Everyone's a downer. I personally, especially with football, like, I think anybody can win any game. And I know that seems crazy. But even, like, if we go down by a lot in, like, the first half, I still don't give up. Because if they can score 3 times in 1 quarter, then why can't we score 3 times in 1 quarter? You know what I mean? So I never give up. And I just think it's silly to give up. Because, like, Sam, on the other hand, he gives up so quick. So his main sport to be a fan of is basketball. And, like, it'll be the first half, and he'll be like, no, they've lost. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, they're down by 10. Like, 10 in basketball is nothing. Be like, it's over. And he'll, like, change the channel. And I'm like, you're crazy. So I never give up. He gives up a little bit. But anyway, yeah, so the seats were super high. I think it's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be really fun. My favorite part ended up being, like, third tier shenanigans. Somebody a few sections over tried to get the wave started. And it was just so funny because every time we waved, it would, like, get a section farther. And we basically made it halfway around the whole stadium. And everyone was just cheering and having such a good time with that. And I think the problem was that since it was preseason, there was just a lot of empty space. So it was hard to get attention of some of the people because there was nobody in their section. So, but I'm hoping we do that for the rest of the games. The other thing is I personally have to get used to where to look because I would, like, try to watch the play on the field, and then I would like look up to see it on the replay, and I would just like miss a lot of stuff. And the cameras are in like the opposite direction, so I would watch the play going left, and then I would look at the screen and it was going right, and then I was very confused. So Sam and my cousin both made fun of me because I kept being like, did they get it? Did they get the down? And they're like, yeah, look at the meter markers. And I was like, meh. So it's just trial and error and practice, but I still had a really good time, and I'm still very excited. Our next game that I get to go to is not until October 2nd. So, because obviously there's some away games that I won't be going to, and also my dad's going to some games with his people. So I'm back in the high seat October 2nd, and I cannot wait. That is the Bears game. And Emily does not care about sports, but I'm going to taunt her anyway. Hopefully, if we win. If we lose, I will not be taunting her. But again, I think we're going to win every game. And I know we're not actually going to win every game, but I have high hopes. So we'll see. There's a lot of changes that happened this year, so hopefully they pay off. But I think we're just about at 30 minutes, so I will probably be wrapping up soon. I wonder if you can tell what's going on and who this is yet. You'll have to let me know. So in my next video, I will be talking about the Scrapbook Expo, which was another huge component of where I have been. That just happened the last weekend of August, so it's recent. And I do have some other fun stories about where I've been. And then obviously, hopefully news stories will be happening. But for activity-wise, I'm pretty empty for September, but I'm excited. We're calling September, though, Skinny September, because stadium seats are small. So we're trying to get in a little bit better shape before our next game on October 2nd. But really, that just means we are walking Miss Noodles a lot, and I'm using my treadmill a lot, and we're trying to make a little bit better choices now so we can make bad choices later. But that's been going good so far. It's just been so hot. It was impressively and incredibly hot here for months. Like, it was over 90 for months, and that's not really normal for us. So as much as Noodles would like to, she just doesn't really handle the heat that well. So she was stuck with like 1 block walks instead of like 1 mile walks. So we're going to get back into it. Noodles loves fall. She thrives. It's her season. And I also am excited for all of the activities that are fall related coming up. And yes, so I think that is it for what we're going to get done. Hopefully I will be finishing this by the end of the month for you to see the final thing. But there it is. And I think I'm going to make that your word for the end of the video. So if you know who they are, put that as your word. And if you don't, put the word hint in your title somewhere that you'd like a hint or you just want the answer. I will give you the answer. But yes, these books are a lot of fun. I love, again, that they have the bold lines. I'm going to show you the back of the page so you could see how bold those lines are. Is that some of it I didn't even go over the lines. Like, I just went quickly and it doesn't even mark, if that makes sense. I don't know. I just love it. Looks like I need to refill my black. For my black, I actually use my Blick, which are the refillable markers that I got for Christmas, because I did finally cave and get a set of refillable, if nothing else, to just supplement other sets. And with my Don Quixote, as I call them, set, I made like 5 or 6 specific publisher packets of colors. So obviously I only had 1 black, so I just use the Blick to supplement, but it looks like I need to fill it. It's getting a little bit dried out. But yes, I love these, and then this will just fold right back up when it's done. And the only negative to these books that I have found thus far is there are only 18 images, but as long as you know there are only 18 images, then I think you're good to go, because they're very high quality otherwise. And yes, I was gonna peek at the back and show you, but I was like, what if mine's on the back? But it's not. So there you go. They also do have the color pencil set. My friend Toll uses them and she really likes them, but I don't know about that. But if you're new to it and like you don't have any supplies, it definitely sounds nice to have it numbered for you. So I don't know. And I think on Mindware's website, there's like bundles that include that. So if you're into that, that might work. But yeah, it's just called Mindware. Yeah, Mindware. So that, I bought all of mine directly from the Mindware website because there are good deals over there. So that is it from me. And I will hopefully be back very soon with my fall coloring bucket list / TBC, to be colored. And I also am going to give you a tour of my Disney collection shelf that I bought. Well, it's a bookcase I bought specifically to display my Disney coloring books because that is the level of extra I am. I was trying to wait and like clean my whole office and then do a whole office tour, but is an office ever truly clean? I don't think so. So I'm not going to wait anymore and give you that tour soon. So that's just some of the stuff coming up from me over here. So if you like what you hear, you should subscribe and stick around. And spiel time. All right, if you like this video, thumbs up. Comment anything you want to comment down below, including our mystery word, which is either the name of this guy or the word hint if you didn't get it. Subscribe if you haven't. I'm a fun time. And I'm here on even numbered dates with new videos for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye, friends.